No one orders me around. This is more like it. Tread lightly. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. What is it now? Speak, fool. What is it now? Speak, fool. No one orders me around. Ah, at last. Tread lightly. What is it now? Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last. For the Lich King. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Tread lightly. Speak, fool. Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. No one orders me around. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Ah, at last. I'll make sure you suffer. This is more like it. Ah, at last.
Welcome to our
lightly. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. No one orders me around. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Tread lightly. For the Lich King. Speak, fool. No one orders me around. Frostmourne. This is more like it. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. What is it? Tread lightly. Finally. At last. This is more like it. No one orders me around. What is it? No one orders me around. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. No one orders me. Tread lightly. Finally. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Finally. What is it now? Frostmourne hungers. No one orders me around. Speak, fool. What is it now? Speak, fool. Tread lightly. What is it now? Speak, fool. Ah, at last. Finally.
Our allied town
Glory
is
to
being
the
attacked.
Scourge. Ah, at last. You will know endless torment. Finally. Ah, at last. Finally. Ah, at last. This is
Our
more like
allied
it.
town is being attacked.
Ah, at last. What is it now? Finally. No one orders me. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being attacked.
Tread lightly. Ah, at last. Speak, fool. No one. Finally. Tread lightly.
Our allied town is being attacked.
What is it now? No one orders me. At last. This is what. At last. Frostmourne hunger.
We
Tread
need more
lightly.
gold. Our allied town is
Finally.
being attacked.
What is it now?
Greetings, friend.
Frostmourne hungers. Tread lightly. What is it now? Faithless coward. Ah, at last. Finally. Tread lightly. Frostmourne hungers. What is it now? Ah, at last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. Frostborn hungers. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. Speak, fool. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being attacked!
No one orders me. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. Speak, fool. Frostborn hungers.
Hello there.
What is it now? No one orders me. Frostborn hungers.
Our allied town is being
What is it
attacked!
now? This is more like it. Ah, at last. Frostborn hungers. Ah, at last. Finally. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Finally. Ah, at last. No one orders me around. Frostborn hungers. Tread lightly. What is it now? Speak, fool. Tread lightly. This is more like it. What is it now? Tread
Our
lightly.
allied town is being attacked!
Speak, fool. At last. No one orders me around. Finally. What is it now? At last. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. Tread lightly. What is it now? Finally. Speak, fool. At last. This is more like it. Finally. At last. Finally.
Our allied town is being
At
attacked!
last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. At last. This is more like it. Finally.
Our
No
allied
one
hero
orders
has
me.
been slain!
This is more like it.
Our allied town is being attacked!
Finally. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. For the Lich King. Finally. Ah, at last. Frostborn hungers. Ah, at last. Frostborn hungers. Tread lightly. Ah, at last. Frostborn hungers.
Our
Finally.
allied town is being attacked!
Ah, at last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. Ah, at last. This is more like it. At last. Frostborn hungers. Finally. At last. This is more like it. At last. Finally. At last. Finally. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it.
Our
At
allied
last.
town is being attacked!
Finally. What is it now? At last. Tread lightly. Finally. Speak, fool. What is it now? Tread lightly.
Our allied town is being attacked!
What is it now? Finally. Frostborn hungers. Tread lightly. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Speak, fool. This is more like it. Ah, at last.
Our allies' hero has Our allied town is being attacked!
Ah, at last.
Our allies' hero has been slain!
No one orders me around. Finally. Ah, at last. This is more. Ah, at last. Finally. At last. Finally. At last. Finally. Frostborn hungers. Finally. At last. What is it now? This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Finally. This is more like it. No one orders me around. Frostborn hungers.
Our allied town is being attacked!
Speak, fool. Tread lightly. Ah, at last. Frostborn hungers. Ah, at last. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being attacked!
What is it now? This is more like it.
Our allies' hero has been
At
slain!
last. Frostborn hungers. Tread lightly. Finally.
Our allied town is being attacked!
No one orders me around. Ah, at last. What is it? Finally. Frostborn hungers. Finally. Ah, at last.
Our allied town is being attacked!
This is more like it. Finally. Ah, at last. This is more like it. No one orders me around. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Ah, at last. Speak, fool. What is it? Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Tread lightly. Finally. No one orders me around. Frostborn hungers. Ah, at last. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Finally. Frostborn hungers. What is it now? Tread lightly. No one orders me around. Tread lightly.
Welcome to
No one orders me.
Our allies' hero has been slain!
Finally. This is more like it. Ah, at last. What is it now? This is more like it. Tread lightly. No one orders me around. Tread lightly. What is it now? Ah, at last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers.
Our allies' hero has been slain! Our
Last.
allied town is being attacked!
Finally. Frostborn hungers. Tread lightly. Speak, fool. This is more like it. Finally. Frostborn hungers. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Finally. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Finally. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Ah, at last. What is it now? Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Finally. Ah, at last. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Finally. Speak, fool. What is it now? No one orders me around. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Speak, fool. Ah, at last. Speak, fool. Frostborn hungers. Finally. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Ah, at last. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. No one
Our hero has been slain. Our allied town is being attacked. Our allies' hero has been slain.
speak, fool. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Finally.
Our allied
at
town is
last.
being attacked.
At last.
Our allies' hero has been slain.
No one orders me around. Tread lightly. Finally. No one orders me around. Frostborn hungers. This is
Our allied town is being attacked.
at last. Your pain shall be legendary. At last. Finally. At last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. At last. Tread lightly. Speak, fool.
Our allies' hero has been
What is
slain.
it now? No one orders me around.
Our allied town is being
Frostborn
attacked.
hungers. What is it now? Finally. This is more like it. No one orders me around. Finally.
Our allied town is being attacked.
Frostborn hungers. At last. This is more like it. At last. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. At last. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it.
Our allied town is
Frostborn
being
hungers.
attacked.
This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. For
Our
this
allied town is being attacked.
at last. Speak. No one is me. What is it now? Finally. Frostborn hungers. At last. Tread lightly. No one orders me
Our
around.
allied town is being attacked.
Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. At last. What is it now? Frostborn hungers. Speak, fool. What is it now? No one orders me.
Our allied town
This
is
is
being
more like
attacked.
it. At last. Speak, fool. No one orders me around. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Finally.
Our allied town is being attacked.
No one orders me around. This is more like it. At last. This is more like
Hello there.
Speak, fool. At last. This is more like it. Tread lightly. At last. This is more like it. At last. Finally. At last. Frostmourne hungers. No one orders me around. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. Tread lightly. At last. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. At last. This is more like it. At last. No one orders me around. What is it now? No one orders me around. Tread lightly. What is it now? Finally. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. This is more like it. Speak, fool. Finally. This is more like it. At last. Frostmourne hungers. At last. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Finally.
Our allied town is being attacked.
At last. At last. Tread lightly. What is it now?
Our
This is
allied
more-
town is being attacked.
At last. Speak, fool. Finally. No one orders me around. Frostmourne hungers. At last. This is more like it. Speak, fool.
Our allied
Frostmourne
town is
hungers.
being attacked.
This is more like it. At last. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. What is it now? Speak, fool. At last. Tread lightly. What is it now? Frostmourne hungers. At last. This is more like it. At last. This is more like it. At last. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. This is more like it. At last. Finally.
Our allied hero
This
has
is
been
more
slain.
Finally. This is more like
Our allied town is being attacked.
At last. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. At last. This is more like it.
Our allied town is
At
being
last.
attacked.
This is more like it. At last. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. No one orders me around. Tread lightly. At last. Frostmourne hungers. Your
Our
pain shall
allied
be
hero has
legendary.
been slain.
At last. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. No one orders me around. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Finally. Frostborn hungers. At last. Finally.
Our allied town is being attacked!
Tread lightly. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers.
Our
Finally.
allied town is being attacked!
Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. What is it now? Finally.
Our allied town is
Frostborn
being attacked!
hungers. This is more like
Our
it.
allies' hero has been slain!
At last. Frostborn hungers. At last. This is more like it.
Our
Frostborn
allied town
hungers.
is being attacked!
Finally. At last. This is more like it. Finally.
Our allies'
Frostborn
hero has been
hungers.
slain!
Finally. Frostborn
Our allied
hungers.
town is being attacked!
This is more like it. At last. Frostborn hungers. Now, Frostborn. This is more like it. At last. For the Lich King.
Our allied town is being
Frostborn
attacked!
hungers. At last. This is more like it. Finally. Frostborn
Our
hungers.
allied town is being
This is
attacked!
more like it. At last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. At last. Frostborn hungers. At last. Frostborn hungers. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. Frostborn hungers. At last. Finally. No one at last. Frostborn hungers. Finally.
Our allies' hero has been
No
under
one
attack!
around. This is more like it.
Greetings.
Tread lightly.
Our allies' hero has been slain!
Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. No one orders me around. Frostborn hungers. Tread lightly. What is it now? This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Tread lightly. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. At last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers.
Our allied town is being attacked!
This is more like
Our allied town is being
it. Frostborn
attacked!
hungers. This is more like it. Speak, fool. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. No one orders me around. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. At last.
Our allied town is being attacked!
At last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. This is more like it. At last. Finally.
刘凯
Frostborn
杰
hungers.
又带
Our allied hero
戳，
has been slain.
哦，你个哥啊！
Allied town is being
这可以赢了吗？
你妈的比赛都还没打呢，他妈
不是说10点吗？
What is it?
点开幕又没有说，
啊，不然是要等大家要睡觉的时候才打、啊。
being attacked.
他说
At last. I'll make sure you suffer. Finally. Frostborn hungers.
Our allied town is being attacked.
Finally.
Our allied hero has been
last.
slain.
Frostborn hungers. At last. Tread lightly. This is more. At
Our
last.
allied town is being attacked.
Frostborn hungers. Finally. At last. Speak, fool. Finally. No one orders me around.
Our allied
At
town
last.
is being attacked.
Frostborn
Our
hungers.
allied hero has been slain.
This is more like it. Finally. Speak, fool. No one orders me around. Speak, fool. This is more like it. Tread lightly. Speak, fool. Finally. Now. This is more like it. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. At last. This is more like it. Finally. What is it? Frostmourne hungers. For the Lich King. Now. At last.
Our allied town is being attacked. Our allied hero has been slain.
Tread lightly. At last. This is more like it. Finally. At last. This is more like it. At last. Finally.
Our allied town is being attacked.
Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Finally. At last. Finally. This is more like it. Speak, fool.
Our allied town is being attacked.
No one orders me. Speak, fool. Frostmourne hungers. At last. Tread lightly. Finally.
Our allied town is being attacked.
Frostmourne hungers. Finally. At last. What is it now? No one orders me around. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being attacked.
Finally. At last. Tread lightly. Frostmourne hungers. At last. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. At last. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. At last. This is more like it. At last. Finally. What is it now? No one orders me. Speak. At last. This is more like it. Tread lightly. Frostmourne. Finally. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. Frostmourne hungers.
Our allies' hero has
At
been
last.
slain. Our
Frostmourne
allied town is being attacked.
Finally. At last. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. At last.
Our
Finally.
allied town is being attacked.
Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. What is it now? At last. Tread lightly. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. At last. This is more like it. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is
Our
more
allied
like
town is being attacked.
At last. Frostmourne hungers.
Our allies' hero has
At
been
last.
slain.
This is Frostmourne hungers. At last. Frostmourne hungers.
Our allied town
This
is
is
being
more
attacked.
Your pain shall be legendary. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. This is Frostmourne hungers. Finally. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. At last. This is more like it. Now, Frostmourne. For the Lich King. At last. Finally. At last.
Our allied town is being attacked.
This is more like it. Finally. At last. Finally.
Our allied town is being attacked. Our hero has been slain. Our allied town is being attacked.
The Blood Elves await. I thirst for magic.
Our allied town is being attacked.
What is it now? This is more like it. At last. Finally. Glory to the Scourge. This is more like it. At last. No one orders me to
allied town is being attacked.
Tread lightly. No one around.
Our allied hero has been slain.
This is more like it. At last. Finally. This is
Our allied town is being attacked.
Frostmourne hungers. Finally.
We're under attack.
Finally.
Our allied hero has been slain.
At last.
Our allied town is
Tread
being
lightly.
attacked.
Speak, fool. No one. Finally. At last. Frostmourne hungers. At last. This is
Our
more-
allied town is being attacked.
Frostmourne hungers. Tread lightly. At last. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. This is
Our allied town is being attacked.
At last. This is what. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. At last. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. This is what is it now? Frostmourne hungers. At last. Tread lightly. Frostmourne hungers. Glory to the scourge. Now, Frostmourne. Finally. Frostmourne hungers.
Our allies' hero has been slain.
No one orders me around. This is more like it. Oh, suffer. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. At last. Faithless coward. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. No one orders me around. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. Finally. Speak, fool. This is more like it. At last.
We're under attack.
Frostmourne hungers. At last. Finally. This is more like it. I'll make sure you suffer. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. Frostmourne hungers. At last. Finally. This is more like it. At last. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being
Frostmourne
attacked.
hungers. At last. No one orders me around. Finally. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being attacked.
Speak, fool.
Our
Frostmourne
allies' hero
hungers.
has been slain.
Tread lightly. What is it now? At last. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. This is more like it. At last.
We're under attack. Our
Frostmourne
allies' hero
hungers.
has been slain.
At last. Finally. Frostborn hungers. What is it? Speak, fool. What is it now? Speak, fool. What is it now? Tread lightly. Speak, fool. What is it now? No one orders me. Tread lightly. This is more like it. Speak, fool. What is it now? Speak, fool. Ah, at last.
Our allied town is being attacked!
Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last.
Our allied town is
Fine.
being attacked!
Ah, at last. Tread lightly.
Our allies' hero has been slain!
Frostmourne hungers. Finally. Speak.
Our allied town is being attacked!
Ah, at last. Glory to the Scourge. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. Ah, at
Our
last.
allied town is being attacked!
Finally. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. At last. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being attacked!
Speak, fool. Ah,
Our
at
allies' hero
last.
has been slain!
Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Ah, at last. Your patience, legendary. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. Tread lightly. Frostmourne hungers. Speak, fool. No one orders me around. This is more like it. Speak, fool.
Our allied town is being attacked!
At last.
Research complete.
No one orders me around. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last. Finally. What is it now? Frostmourne hungers. Finally.
Our allied town is being
Frostmourne
attacked!
hungers. Finally. At last. This is more. At last.
Our allies'
lightly.
hero has been slain!
Frostmourne
Our
hungers.
allied town is being attacked!
No one orders me around. This is more. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. What is it now? Speak, fool. Ah, at last. No one orders me. What is it? No one orders me. This is more like it. Finally.
Our allied town is being
At
attacked!
last. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being attacked!
Ah, at last. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being
At
attacked!
last. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Finally. Ah, at last. Frostmourne hungers. Greatness numbers. Finally. Ah, at last.
Our allies' hero has been slain!
Frostmourne hungers. At last. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. No endless torment. Frostmourne hungers.
Ready for
What is it now? At last. Like it. Frostmourne hungers. This is more.
What is your will?
This is more like it. Finally. At last. Glory to the Scourge. Your tales are legendary. What is it now? Tread lightly. What is it now?
The Blood Elves.
Speak. Tread lightly. Finally. At last. Hunger. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. At last. Finally.
Your pain is Our outlying town is being attacked.
At last. Finally. Frostborn hungers. At last. This is Frostborn hungers. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. At last.
我靠！哦，宙斯开秀！
This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. Finally. At last. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. Frostmourne hungers. Speak, fool. At last. Tread lightly. Speak, fool. This is more like it.
Our outlying town is being attacked.
这个反应很好，我操！这 QK 没播到了吗？
What is it now? Speak, fool. Frostborn hungers. At last. What is it now? Finally. At last. Frostborn hungers. At last. This is more like it. At last. Frostborn hungers. Speak, fool. What is it now? Finally. Speak, fool. At last. This is more like it. At last. Finally. This is more like it. At last. No one orders me around. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. What is it? Tread lightly. Finally. What is it? No one orders me around. Speak, fool. What is it now? hungers. Finally, Frostborn hungers. Finally. At last.
Our allies' hero has been slain. Our hero has been slain. Our allied town is being attacked. Our allies' hero has been slain. Our allied town is being attacked. Our
No
allied
one
town
orders
is
me
being
around.
attacked.
Finally. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers.
Our allied town is being attacked.
At last. Tread lightly. What is it now? Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Finally. No one orders me around. This is more like it. At last.
Our allied town is being attacked.
What is it now? Speak, fool. At last. What is it now? This is more like it. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it.
Yeah.
Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. This is more like it.
Our allies' hero has been slain.
No one orders me. What is it now? This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. This is more like it.
emerge.
This is more like it. At last. This is more like it. At last. Frostborn hungers. At last. This is more like it.
You will know endlessly.
At last. Finally. This is more like it. Tread lightly. Frostborn hungers. At last. Finally. Frostborn hungers.
Our allies' hero has been slain.
This is more like Frostborn hungers. This is more like no one orders me around. Frostborn hungers. What is it now? Speak, fool. No one orders me. What is it now? Finally. Tread lightly. This is more like it. Speak, fool. Frostborn hungers. Frostborn hungers. Finally. Frostborn hungers. Finally. This is more. What is it? Speak, fool.
We're under attack!
At last. Finally. Tread lightly. This is more like it. What is it now? Tread lightly. Speak, fool. What is it? No one orders me around. Tread lightly. What is it now? At last. Speak, fool. At last.
Our allies' hero has been slain.
Tread
Our
lightly.
allied town is being attacked.
Frostborn hungers. At last. Frostborn hungers. At last. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. Frostborn hungers. Finally. Speak, fool. Frostborn hungers. Finally. Frostborn hungers. This is more like it. No one orders me around. At last. Finally. This is more like it. Finally. Frostborn hunger. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. This is Frostborn hungers. Finally. Frostborn hungers. This is more
We're under attack!
Finally. Frostborn hungers.
Our allied town is
Fine.
being attacked!
What is it now? Tread lightly. Speak, fool. At last. What is it now?
Our
Tread
allied
lightly.
town is being attacked!
Speak, fool. Finally.
town is
At
being
last.
attacked.
At last. What is it now? Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Finally.
Our allied town is being attacked.
At last. Frostmourne
Our
hungers.
allied's hero has been
This
slain.
is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it.
Our allied town is being attacked.
At last. This is more like it. Finally.
Our hero has been slain.
I'm here to help.
Our allied town is being attacked. Our allied's hero has been slain. Command me. Our allied town is being attacked. Our allied town is being attacked. Our allied town is being attacked. Our allied hero has been slain. Our allied town is being attacked. Our allied's hero has been slain.
No one orders me to allow. This is more like it. Finally. Tread lightly. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. At last. Speak, fool. Tread lightly. This is more like it. Finally. This is more like it. No one orders me around. Frostmourne hungers. Finally.
Our allied's hero
This
has
is
been
more like
slain.
it. At last. Finally. Tread lightly.
Our allied town is being attacked.
This is
Our allied's hero has been slain. Our hero has been slain. Our allied town is
thirst for magic.
Our allied town is being attacked.
Speak, fool. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Finally. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Frostborn hunters.
Our allied town is being attacked.
Ah, at last. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Finally. No one orders me around. Tread lightly.
Our allies' hero has been slain.
Ah, at last. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Finally. Frostborn hunters. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Finally. Frostborn hunters. Finally. Ah, at last. Finally.
Our allies' hero has been slain.
Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. What is it now? Tread lightly. Speak, fool.
Our allies' hero has been slain.
Hungers. Finally. This is more like it. Frostborn hunters. Finally. This is more like it.
标题飞克输了，
This is more like it. What is it? Frostborn hungers. Finally.
不会有开声音吗？
At last.
那我们讲话他会听到吗？
Finally.
你就把它隔开。
Frostborn hungers.
他跟你讲话了，
Finally.
这个是不够。
Frostborn hungers. This is more like it.
干你娘嘞！为什么你讲话没有声音，我讲话有？ 这个模组很帅诶，前景全部都是紫色的。
This is more like it. At last. Finally. At last. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. Finally. Frostmourne hungers.
好像没有诶，我没听到我讲话的声音诶。我在看你的直播，可是我没有听到我讲话的声音。
This is more like it. Finally.
有啊，但我听到了，操！
What is it now? No one orders me around.
看 T1 开局不利，接下来怎样？
More like it.
这已经是第一阶段了。
Frostmourne hungers. Finally.
BL 区是台湾的吗？
Frostmourne hungers.
中国的。
Speak, fool. This is more like it. Finally.
开始了吗？我为什么看还没开始？
Last.
哦，没有，因为第一场先打完了。他现在目前是广告中。
Hello there.
大爷，那你刚刚又讲开局不利，开你妈啦！操你妈！干，我还以为开始。
啊，确实开始啊，但是第一场打完了，还有4场，还有最终4场要打。
This is
而且又没有说我，而且我没有说是开始，这是谁说的？是我，
what is it now?
他们今天一定要打完，一定会打完。
一定会打完。
Frostmourne
太了，那我看今天打到3点、3、4点去了。
at last.
是有可能。
This is
如果真的打到5场全部打完的话，可能打到3、4点去了，一场又要休息一下。
要看两边的状态吧，不一定会打满。
Frostmourne.
BL 区里面有台湾人吗？
教练，听说教练好像是台湾。
This is more like it. At
开
last.
始了，开始了，开始了。
Frostmourne hungers.
干你的 Faker 的第5冠吗？
At last. Frostmourne hungers.
不确定。
No one orders me around.
当时你是 Faker 的粉丝吗？
At last.
当时你的操作比较强，还 Faker 的操作比较强？你敢回答我吗？那你真的很皮耶！妈的，你要骗他几支水啊？那什么挤钢铁哦？看他帅了吧？钢铁你是 Windows 几？Windows 10还是 Windows 7？干掉我这个。